John, when that Vinny Ocean, Vinny Ocean, because he used to work in fish market, so he goes around the water, so they call him Vinny Ocean. He became the boss of that fucking thing, and he lasted forever because they were so low profile that they were so busy with the New York action. It's a little town there, but they had it going on. And they was making some.
There was some people up in Rockland County like that.
I'm sure.
They were just real small. And my friends' dads, and they were those guys, and they were so small that but it was a lot of money in that it was suburb. We were on the Jersey side, and we're from Rockland, and Spring Valley. We had a few people up there.
Am I interviewing you now? The TV on. Let's get it.
The TV's on already.
Oh, what is it?
Hey, hello, and we're back.
And we're back.
He didn't know, but we're back.
I never knew when we were back. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Pulled them back in.
Well, here we are. Back with the Rock.
There we go.
Where we ventured you on the story there, Rock?
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the murder machine.
Ooh.
We're talking about your boss. Your first boss, your only boss.
Besides my mother.
Besides your mother.
That's right.
Well, my mother's my boss too. I'm still afraid of her at 86.
That's right.
She still scares me. She's a little and scary. Runs her own house, has a pacemaker, broke her arm and her rib, and she's still going.
We get a chance, we'll tell you one story about my mother, and after that I ain't going to tell you no more, just to give you a little insight.
Yeah, well, I think it has to do with this, right? It has to do with Anthony Senta, Joey Testa, and all the boys that are in the murder machine, right?
A little before that. I was a little smaller then.
Oh, okay, so that one? Okay.
Whenever you'd like to hear it, Mr. Rock, you let me know.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell me now?
I forgot how old I was. Very young age. And my mother, she says about 5 foot nothing, weighs about 102. Beautiful woman.
Twin of my mother, right?
Beautiful Italian woman. I mean, really. When she's like a firecracker to that son of a gun.
We should show them a picture of your mom.
We definitely will. I don't know what actually happened, right? But back in that day, she was chasing me, And when you see your mother running behind you, and you're looking back, you can't help but laugh.
Yes, it's funny. Yeah,
as you laugh,
I remember.
Your side starts to hurt, you slow down.
Yes, and then your head
she's getting closer and closer. You're not realizing it, And she got within room distance. And I still thought she was far enough away. But back then, they didn't have really many wooden brooms. They came out with these aluminum brooms for light.
Oh, I remember that.
So she got about within a foot and a half from me, right? And I started to go again, and all I heard was woof, and I felt this thing hit me on the top of the head, right? The aluminum boom bent around. So now I'm hooked like a fish. I jump like a rabbit, pull the boom out of it, and run running down the block. And the last thing I heard my mother say, "You better not come home without a new fucking broom." And that's my mother in a nutshell, basically.
My mother used to throw shoes at my sisters, the clogs. she was like, she had whipped them across the room, like
they had that talent.
Deadly aim.
They had that talent.
Yeah.
My sister.
My sister was all the way down the steps, running away, like all the way down. We had to walk up in the Bronx, and we were on Bolton Avenue. And we had this really steep walk up, right? Like it was like, and my sister was almost out the door. My mother got to the edge of the thing, wham, with the clock, and it split her head right open.
My mother.
She ended up in the hospital.
God rest her soul. I don't care how bad me and my sister were all day long. She never did nothing. She just smiled at us and laughed. It was good. 7:30 was like a ritual. We had to take a bath.
Yeah.
So she filled the bathtub up. She said, "Now get undressed. You get undressed. You
and you whip your ass.
And you stepped into that bathtub. When you stepped in that bathtub, it was like a fucking magnet. She'd be in the door with a wooden spoon.
Oh,
she grabbed everybody up. She loved you enough to grab everybody up. She didn't break your fucking head. And she held on to you. Now you remember all the things she did all day today? But before you got to the bar, it was on.
Yeah.
But I'm beating boom. And the first thing you're slipping. And you said, "You better stay under that water." But I loved her to death. She was nothing but, when they say there's angels, well, that was one angel here on earth without wings.
Yeah.
Now she has the wings, I'm really in trouble. Now she follows me all over.
Now she's bugging you all the time.
I can't lose, I can't get in the car, I can't get away.
You can't run it.
I feel it. What are you doing now? You didn't do enough stupid shit, stop. And sometimes I stop and pay it off a lot of times, trust me.
Yeah.
It's just a thing, I guess, I don't know. I'm not saying that belongs to any ethnic group. I think all mothers from anywhere in the world have that effect on their children.
I agree. My mother's too. I mean, she is my moral compass, and she's a beast.
His
She's
mother's
scary.
like Burgess Memory. He gave me the rock, but she's telling him where it's at.
She sure is. Yeah, she never let me get away with anything.
Oh,
she would. Oh my gosh.
I got one more. Just after I can tell you
Okay.
my mother was like one all day. One day some kid got hurt in the neighborhood, right? So the cops, they brought him home, right? But wherever he got hurt, he had left his belongings. You know, he's a young kid. He must be about 9 years old. I must have been about 9 myself. So they're coming down the block, and they don't know where this kid lives, right? So we're standing in a group, and they said, do you know where so-and-so lives? And I says, yeah. He lives down there. They says, could you do us a favor? Could you get in the car and just show us where he lives? I said, sure. I get in the car. I must have been in the car for about a hot 2 minutes. Who comes walking down the block? My mother. And I'm walking, as they're driving by, I'm looking out the window, she's looking at me, and all of a sudden I hear is, stop the car! I said, what the fuck? The cop said, what happened? I said, that's my mother. I think she wants to say something. We believe that's what it was about. I get out of the car and ask her what. I never got what out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I got a right hook,
Yep.
I swear to God. The cop says, lady, but what are you doing? She said, he's just trying to, she said, I don't give a shit. I don't want to see him in the back of a police car again. The cop said, well, what's wrong with that? She says, no, you want to bring him to the police car, you come and get me first. I'm his mother. You're a police officer. I'm his mother. You
Yeah.
want to take my son to
That's
your
right.
police car, you come and get me first.
That's right.
Oh, what a wow, I swear to God. Then after we got over, she says, am I able to see the police car again? She said, no. She broke out the crumb cake. She knew I love crumb cake. She cut
My
the
mother
top.
too. She loves Entenmann's crumb cakes.
But I was a bad boy. I used to just eat the tops and put the cake
Oh,
back.
yeah.
So when all her friends came over, she offered coffee and cake. She was so embarrassed. But after she slapped me that day, I came upstairs. She cut the top off and gave it to me.
Oh, good for you.
She
Nice.
rewarded me for punching me in the mouth.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we can hit some more.
Ma.
Yeah, hold on.
I mean,
Hit me again.
yeah.
So we have the murder machine, right? And in this book, there's one more mother story we're going to talk about. There's Anthony Senta, Joey Testa, all the boys, Henry Varelli, Freddie DeName, all these guys, and they had a shop out in Brooklyn, right? Freddie had a shop, I guess.
Oh,
Right.
no, it was Richie.
Oh, it was Richie's shop.
Richie shop. Authorized collision, yes.
Right.
Great guy, Richie. Great guy.
Yeah. Richie DeName.
One
right?
of my best friends I ever had, Richie. Good person. How we got mixed up with those boys, I'll never know.
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
belong there.
Is he still around?
I believe so. I hope
Oh,
so.
good,
I pray to
good.
God he is.
Oh, very nice.
That's kind of guy
Okay,
he is.
okay, good deal. But there was a time when your mother was across the street from the shop,
Oh,
and she called you.
my mom lived diagonally from the shop, okay, and quite a little distance, not too much, right? So one day she calls me up. She said, "Pete, you gotta come over to the house." I said, "Mom," she said, "Don't ask me, just come here." I said, "Okay, Mom." So I go there. I go in the house. She says, "See that phone truck? That truck's been there for like 12, 13 hours. I ain't seen nobody yet." I said, "What's been there, Mom?" She said, "No, you watch. Sit at the window, watch. You're gonna see something." And I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking. I don't see nothing. All of a sudden, I see a flashlight. She said, "See? I look, see what? What the fuck?" I said, "Mom, what is that?" She said, "Don't curse, but look at that flash."
Yeah, exactly. My mother would just say, like, "No curse."
And I see it's a pair of lenses. Like if you held like binoculars up to the sun and would get a little flash on it from the sun in the window. I said, "Oh shit." She says, "I told you, they're watching your friends at the shop." I get on the phone, thinking I'm doing the right thing. I call them up and tell them, "Hey, guys, it's not for nothing, but the phone trip in front of my mom's house, it's not what you think it is. They're observing you guys very closely." So next thing I know, I see the door to the body shop open up, and I'm still on the phone. And here comes Anthony Senta. He's got his own binoculars. So what is he doing? He's looking at that pointing. "I see you, I see you." I don't know if that's what he's actually saying, but if I had to guess, he said, "I see you."
Well, you know him, so you know what he's probably saying. He likes to.
And Anthony Senta it was like one of the greatest guys I ever known and still know. All of a sudden he opens the door like it was like something like a burlesque stage, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then the guys come prancing out, right? Line up against the wall, put their heads up against the wall. But this, and I know that they already had their pants unbuckled. They start shaking like hula girls, and all their pants fall down. And then they are lined up against the arc-twice wall with their asses facing the cops. I mean, it was funny, but yet, when we were on trial, them suckers brought that picture in blew it up to like the size of a movie screen.
Like this is back behind us? About this big behind us?
Oh yeah, easy. They were full size, whatever.
Oh, really? Full size?
The guys were 6 foot, they were 6 foot.
Oh, wow.
They see from the head to the toe. And they said, and these are the guys that have so much respect for the law that they do this. Nice, huh? See what happens?
See what happens?
See what happens when you fool around?
But it backfired, didn't it? Didn't all the girls start trying to marry the boys?
Oh yeah.
The newspaper?
They would get calls left and right. What a cute ass you got. That's so hot. You turn around.
Turn around.
They never did, because they didn't want to show off their privates to the boys,
Yeah.
Asses are asses, but everything else is yours.
So that's a good mom story.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Roy Demeo, of course, was your first boss, and then Chrissy Rosenberg had a name, Chris Demeo. He named himself.
Of course, yes.
And how? Why don't you tell us how? But didn't you steal cars with Chrissy before you guys were involved with Roy?
Yes, we were young guys, and
you were like 16, 17 years old?
probably around that age, and we stealing cars, which you're going to read in the book, because,
Yeah. What about that one that you stole the van when you went up to, did you guys steal that van and go up to Providence, Rhode Island in a snowstorm, the first one you ever stole?
Oh, and rolled over, yeah. Anyhow, we rolled that one over, so we just took the numbers off it, left it there, we got another one. That's how easy it was back in the day, Back in the day, you go up to Rhode Island, you go to the motor vehicle with a letter saying that you had bought this car. They would give you a title, a license plate, and it was like candy for us, because we did all the rest. So we were involved in these cars, right? So, we were younger than that. As we got a little older, we started doing a little more things like with foreign cars. So Porsches, Jaguars, Triumphs, anything to that sort that was a much more of an earner for the same amount of work. And there was a time when I went to Europe, and I went to a couple places. I went to Germany, of course, and while I was in Germany, I decided to go to the Mercedes-Benz dealer, the Porsche dealer, and over there at that time, back in the day, I'm talking back early 70s, they would be more than glad to take you on a guided tour through their plant, and they put you, watch your seminar, you watch how the cars are built, and I'm looking for other things besides the nature of the car being built. I'm looking to see what the numbers are and how they're put on, and I got to all of it. I said, but I know all these. I just don't understand how they keep busting these cars. At the end of the line, they take the dashboard. Imagine this: take the dashboard, they flip it over on the inside, and they write in yellow chalk the VIN number. Now, who would think that they would do that? Nobody. So when I got back, I shared that with Chris, and that was our thing, man. They would take our cars, strip them, look at them, and have to give them back to us. One day, we sell this car to this young guy, and he's out with this girl that me and Chris know, and they're driving around in this Porsche, and he gets pulled over, the car searches the car, and he finds some narcotics in it, right? So the kid panics. What does he do? He don't want to go to jail. So he starts telling about these cars, that we're the guys that sell them and all this, we do the tags, we do all of this, he buys. Bottom line is, the cop he's telling it to works for Mr. Demeo, which I didn't know at the time, of course, He was an auto unit crime cop, and he goes to Mr. Demeo and he tells him that these kids are the kids you gotta get, they're the best. We cannot keep their cars, we grabbed them, we know they're stolen, but they do them so good, it's hard for us to keep them. With that information, Roy goes, I don't know where he finds Chris, but he snatches him up. Now, Chris is a single guy at this time. He's the type of guy that he'd have a fight with a girl, and probably, it was very even how it was going to come out. That's how he was, He wasn't a tough guy, he really wasn't, okay? And he knew what he was doing. He was very meticulous of what he did, as far as cars go. So, Roy got this kid, and he calls me up. And first of all, I'm not even thinking, I don't know how he got my number. I'm home babysitting. My daughter's probably about 2 years old maybe at that time. And my cousin's visited me. My cousin's a big boy, good old country boy as a matter of fact. I'm in the house, right? And he calls me up and he tells me I should come down to this place, the Gemini. I says, I can't come right now. I'm watching my daughter. I hang up the phone. Well, I did ask, who is this? He says, this is Roy. I says, and? He says, you gotta come down to the Gemini. I want to talk to you. I said, I don't know you, man. I ain't coming nowhere. I said, besides, I'm watching my daughter. I hang up the phone. Calls back. He says, are you going to come down here? I said, but maybe you didn't hear me. I said, I'm watching my daughter. Don't bother me no more. I don't know you. And I hang up. He must have been about 10 minutes later. I heard car screech out front, right? I'm out on the porch, right? I'm like, watching my kid, right? And two guys jump out of this gray Cadillac. I'm looking at them. Who the fuck are these guys? They come over to you, Pete Lafroscia? Yeah. So they said, I want to talk to you. Okay? You know, bring the baby inside to my cousin, right? And come back out. And they're telling me the story about how Danny, this guy's name was Danny Grillo.
That's Danny.
Danny
Okay.
Grillo. And he's telling the story about how his nephew got pinched for this car, you know, because it wasn't done right. I'm saying, hold on. Now, he doesn't know previous to that the girl that was with that guy that night called me and told me that when he got pinched for the narcotics, he started telling him everything about these cars. So Danny didn't know it, and Roy didn't know it. So I'm listening to them. I'm listening to this whole story, how, you know.
So it was Danny and Roy that were there?
Oh, Danny and Roy there, yeah.
Okay.
And they're telling me about this shit, right? And I'm listening, and they're coming on like, you know, and I'm starting to get the idea who these guys are. You know, they ain't no regular street guys. They're big guys, you know. Guys that you read about and watch on TV, on Touchables, that kind of shit, you know.
This kind of shit.
Them guys. So I'm listening. So I'm getting to the point, like I said, I'm young and I'm not the smartest tool in the shed right there. I'm listening to them and they go, and I'm saying, but wait a minute. You guys are these guys, right? And they're nodding. I said, well, aren't you guys that are these guys, the guys that don't believe in people snitching? They said, definitely. I said, so what the fuck is this all about? So they look at me, what are you talking about? I said, listen, man, I don't mean to no disrespect, no, nothing else, but this is what went down. That kid got busted, pulled over, got busted for narcotics. And that nephew of yours, I wasn't there, but I was told by a bird that was right there that he told the cops all about the cars. So therefore, in my mind, that nephew of yours, now I said it again, is a snitch. Well, let me tell you something. That set off a fucking fuse like you knew.
I bet it did.
They started swinging at me, trying to beat me up.
Oh,
I was a very wiry little guy, jumping around, you know, bouncing around. They got a couple of shots in, but you know, like I said, I was up against a hurricane fence. They're bouncing in and out, boom, boom, boom. And next thing you heard was, and everybody froze. And there was my cousin standing on the porch with a 12 gauge, telling him, listen, if you hit my cousin again, I will blow your fucking head off. Everybody stopped. Roy completely calmed it down. He said, oh, everybody calm down. We don't need none of this. See, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, of course, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Roy wasn't scared of them, don't get me wrong. But he just figured it time to calm it down.
Yeah.
He said to me, he started telling me that, I said, listen. He says, I want you to come work for us. I says, doing what? He says, cars. You're very good at what you do. I says, and? I says, he says, yeah, we'll give you a shop, you know. You make X amount of dollars, we'll tell you when they're gonna raid the shop and all of that. You'll be under like protection. I says, I'm thinking, but why do I need you? You know, I'm doing very good on my own, you know. He said, you refuse. I says, all right, let me figure this out. I says, you want me to come with you guys and I'll still make X amount of dollars and I'll be under your protection. So there's gotta be something that you want in this. You're gonna get a percentage. I said, okay, now you're making sense. I said, but how did you find me? And he points to his car, and there's my so-called partner, Chris, sitting in the back.
Another
so
snitch.
right away, me.
Another snitch.
Right away, me, yeah.
Another rat.
Not even thinking, another fucking rat. And you want me to work with him? I said, forget about it. He said, so he refused? I said, listen, he knows as much as I do. You really don't need me. I'm just an extra expense. And I said, so there you go. Bottom line is, they left, and I went on a new route. I got busted for some hash coming back from Europe. Wound up doing a little time, got out of prison, and Roy wants to see me, you know. But now he's telling this kid, Chris, that he wants to see me. Every time I see Chris, he's telling me, don't go down by the Gemini, Roy's still mad at you, bada bing, bada boom. I'm saying, what what the fuck? It's old, man. It's 2 years already. He said, don't go there. So every time Roy told him to bring me down, because he wants to talk to me, he never would bring me down and tell me a scary story.
He didn't want you to one-up him because he was Roy's boy.
Right. And the thing is, he didn't want it because, not to have it against the Jewish faith, I got a lot of friends that are Jewish, tough kids, smart kids, and I love them very much. I was Italian, he was Jewish, he couldn't progress in this kind of organization with that ethnic background, okay?
And Chris Rosenberg became Chris Demeo in the book. He used the name, and there's several TV movies out with Ray Liotta played Roy, and was talking about Chrissy not being able to use the name anymore because Nino said he couldn't.
Right.
And so he was trying to be Italian to lay more facts to the story of what he's saying about Chrissy in his way. He even became, changed his name to Demeo so he didn't have a Jewish last name.
He changed his name to his wife's maiden name, but he used Demeo.
Yeah, he used Demeo.
He liked using that name, but he did use his wife's maiden name, which I don't remember.
Oh, he did really change his name?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought of everything else. I didn't know that.
So,
spoiler alert.
So finally, it come to the line where I ain't going down there. I'm not looking for no more trouble, I just finished doing, wasn't a lot of time, but it was enough time to put a little bit thought into what I was doing. So I go to a cousin's wedding, my Uncle Joey's daughter, and I'm sitting there, I'm at the table, right, talking to the family members, and I'm looking at the doors, and in comes Roy. I said, holy shit, he found me. I'm freaking out. I see him walking with Uncle Joey, they hug, they kiss, they shake hands. Now I'm really I'm thinking what's going on. Yeah, it's like a family affair. Who's this guy? So all of a sudden I see Roy going like this, He's over there, that's it, we're going to talk to him. That's your nephew? Well, I know that's what he's saying. I know. My mom was going, what happened, I said, well, what's going on? He says, I want to talk to him. I want to talk to Pete. So Uncle Joey comes over, tells me, come over here. I go over there. Brings me over to Roy. He says, I want you to meet a dear friend of mine. I says, really? He says, yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm godfather. Or I'm not sure which way it was. Either he was godfather to his child. I was too nervous to pay attention at the time. I didn't know what was going down. Like I said, I'm still a young kid, right? Really, reality. And then Roy goes to me, he says, why didn't you come down to the bar when you came home? I wanted to talk to you. I said, what do you wanted to talk to me? He said, I said to you many times. I said, listen, every time I got a message that you sent for me, it was the opposite. Stay away from the bar. Roy is still pissed at you. He said, oh yeah? I said, well, why would I lie to you? I said, every time Chris came to me, he said, don't come by the bar. Roy's still mad at you. So I respected your wishes. And I thought he was trying to still be a half-assed friend, the snitch that he was, and tell me that, for my own safety, not to go there. So I never did. So he says, well, come down Wednesday night. I went down because now I felt safe under my uncle and Roy's relationship that I went there. And that was it. Here I am, to today.
That was the day.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Here I was, a long time, till today.
Yeah, in the joint, now out, and now he's a new man. So.
Old man.
Well, old new man.
Yes.
A new old man.
An old man.
Oh, yeah, and so he ended up with Roy from that point forward, and then he was known as the car guy. The Murder Machine was about. Roy was a hitman for the mob. For those of you who don't know, he was a hit. The team was they hit for the mob. They took people out for the mob, and there was. The Feds sat on him for a long time, watched a lot. The Gemini Club and the Gemini Lounge is where all of this went down. It's all over. You can see anything you want about it. They tend to paint it dark and grisly, but there was a lot of other businesses that Roy was in. He was in banking, and he was in the car deal. The cars is what finally took him down because of a guy we'll get to later, Vito Arena, who was the guy portrayed in The Sopranos as the homosexual
Hitman.
Hitman.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that's funny.
So, but that's a story for another day. But what we do have here is, I do want to talk about Danny Grillo. Because I didn't know that Danny was the one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know that I've heard about Danny Grillo through Pete and many other stories, and we were going to cover that anyway. And then when I didn't know, I knew there was 2 guys that came with Roy, and I didn't know the other guy was Danny Grillo. So since that's it, we can skip. We'll talk about Pete later, Pete Atkins.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, let's talk about Danny Grillo and when he had a gambling debt.
Danny.
Well, he had a bit of a gambling problem. It progressed as the years went on, right?
Don't get me wrong, Danny was a tough guy.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him, you know, and all the crazy shit, but he had bad disease. Sometime during this interview...
Let me ask you a question. They said he was friendly with, or had to watch that Kaczynski guy, or whatever it was, the ice picker, the Iceman, that Roy had him as like his watchdog.
Kind of like that.
And had him watching.
I want to tell you how bad Danny was. Danny was the guy that really introduced the Westies to us, to Roy. I shouldn't say
really?
Us, to Roy. Yeah, that's how the Westies became involved with the Gambinos. From what I understand now.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I wasn't there for no... But I did get to meet a few of them. They were pretty tough kids themselves. Especially the 2 that they portrayed in Sleepers.
Yeah.
They were tough kids, both of them kids, man. They in a heartbeat. They didn't give a shit, you know. They lived their life the way they lived it. They had a lot of hatred in them for what happened to them. That was a true story, by the way, Sleepers.
Yes.
Those kids suffered very, very dearly. And I'm sure if you've read the book or seen the story, I don't care how tough you are, you had to cry for those kids.
Yeah.
Your heart went out to them. It's a really, really terrible thing.
It was.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
And like you see in the movies, 2 of them went, changed their lives around completely, and the other 2 just became who they were, and that's that.
Yeah.
And as God had it, or whoever you want to call, brought that together in the end to help each other one more time. And they did, and they probably never saw each other again after that. But that's where that went down.
And that's why I'm Irish and Italian, which is why the movie will be, that features Pete and some of his stories in the earlier days is called Irish Luck. Because Irish are really never lucky, like those kids. They weren't lucky at all. It's an oxymoron, and you know, Irish luck is fought for and earned. It's not. You don't fall into it. There is no such thing as a leprechaun. So.
If he is, he's a mean son of a bitch.
Yes. Yeah. He is.
Nothing nice about him.
Yeah. He might have horns.
Anyhow.
So let's talk about Danny Grillo.
So Danny Grillo, like I said, that was the first time I met him. You know. And as time went on, I came close to him. And I liked Danny in a sense. You know what I mean? He was a standoff guy. Him and Roy did a lot of things together, you know, basically closer in age and stuff like that. And, you know, Danny been around a little bit, you know. And there come a time, Danny had a bad habit, bad disease. I call it a disease. It's worse than any disease there is. There's an old joke about it. Someday, Rocco will interview me and I will tell you about that joke and you will laugh at it. But Danny had a gambling disease, very serious gambling disease. And Roy had warned him a couple of times, you know. He bailed them out. I'm talking about $5,000, $10,000, I'm talking $50,000, $100,000, $200,000.
We're talking about the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
there's
a
a lot of scuttle.
So, he's at this Las Vegas night, run by a dear friend of mine, Tony Pep, who I became very close with while I was in college. We call it college, but it was federal prison. And we became close, and we were this GED class, and Tony said, Petey, I need help with the GED. Could you take it for me? And I did, and after that, we became very close. When we got out, Tony was, anything I needed, he was there for me. Like I said, he was a great guy, he went straight. He opened up a trucking company, and everything was good. But that time, he was running this Las Vegas night. And Danny's up there, and of course, he had a couple of zoop-de-zoo, he's feeling no pain. And he's at the craps table, rolling the dice. I show up, right? And I walk over to him, and he tells me to wait a minute, he's rolling the dice. I wait, and he's rolling the dice. I wait, I said, hey, Danny, listen, I gotta go. But Roy wants me to take you home. I ain't going home. I said, listen. I said, you know what, I'm not gonna argue with you, Danny, you're drunk. So I went over to Tony, and I explained the situation to Tony. So Tony walks over, he stands by me, and Danny said, Danny, you're gonna have to leave, you know. Tony had a lot of respect for Roy, and Roy had a lot of respect for Tony, so. And he says, okay, he says, but I gotta roll dice a couple more times. So I think at that time, Tony told me, okay, 3 more times and you're done. So he rolls it 2 times, right? So the last time I'm standing there watching, and Tony's looking at me, and then he says, I want Pete to roll dice for you last time. Nah.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not that type of gambler. I'm not, and I'm talking serious money. You're talking $100,000 on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money today.
Yeah, it's a lot of money today.
So he says, Pete, roll dice. I says, Danny, I'm not rolling them dice. I'm not touching them dice. He says, roll the dice and I'll leave. I said, look, I don't want nothing to do with the dice. I'm not rolling the dice. You don't want to leave, don't leave. You know, there's consequences to everything. I'm going to walk out the same way I walked in here. Same amount of money I had in my pocket, I'm walking out the same amount of money when I leave. He says, no. This is on me. I said, Danny, I don't want to roll dice. So Tony walks up to me, he says, Danny, he rolls the dice, it's still your responsibility. Then she says, sure, let him roll dice. I don't roll dice. I know about dice. Whatever number he had, I didn't hit the number, and that was it.
Crapped out.
So Tony with that says, all right, gotta go, Danny. So Danny goes, right, we go home. The next day I got a phone call. Danny tells me, come to the house. I said, okay. I go outside, stop my car, won't stop. So there's this girl I was dating at the time to please drop me off there. So she drops me off, right? He must be looking out the window. She pulls away. I walk to the door. The first thing he says to me, which really took me by surprise, is, why? You think because somebody brought you here, I will whack you? You're only going to get that whack too. I said, Danny, what the fuck is the matter with you? What are you talking about? He says, well, did you bring your 50 G's? Well, that's, my jaw just dropped. I said, my 50 G's for what? He said, well, we were partners last night. You rolled the dice. I said, I'm not going to instigate on it. I said, you know what? Why don't I just meet you at the club and we'll straighten this out? He said, make sure you bring the money with you later. I said, I went down. I spoke to Roy, right? And I told Roy, you said when you get him, this is going down. And I said, listen, I know you believe me, Roy, but just for hell, why don't you call Tony Pep up? Better yet, goes to see Tony Pep. Tony Pep says, listen, Roy, that kid, I was a kid at the time, and they were older than me, said he had nothing to do with that. I'm telling you straight up, Roy, Pete did not want to touch those dice, but Danny wouldn't leave unless you rolled that roll. So Danny, Roy goes back, we're sitting at the table. So Danny tells me, yeah, me and Pete were partners. And Roy said, Danny, you and Pete were not partners. He said, what do you mean he rolled the dice? He says, I know for a fact you insisted on him rolling the dice, and I know for a fact you told the owner that established it that night that he wasn't going to be responsible. So why are you trying to make this kid pay $50,000 a year? I told you about your gambling habit. Anyhow, I walked out, everything was cool. Long story short, that gambling problem caused him a serious problem that apparently he drove to the Vario Bridge with his Cadillac, took his jewelry off, put his wallet on the seat, and bada bing, he jumped. God's honest truth, this is what I heard. I believe it because I have to believe it. I don't know what the story not to believe it.
Yeah.
And that was the end of Danny and his gambling debts and his bills. And like I said, I don't know what really happened. The man did what he thought was right for his family, and that's that. So, all my respect, Danny, wherever you are, God bless you. Hope you're doing better there.
Thank you, Pete.
My pleasure, man.